Do you want to introduce yourself or should I?
I guess I can introduce myself, yeah.
Go ahead, introduce yourself and also talk about how we met.
Hi, my name is Josh, and I am a 24-year-old non-binary individual who currently resides in New Zealand. And I met Jules when I was a little teenager.
I was younger than you.
You were much younger than me, I believe.
Yeah.
When I was a little teenager making Nerdfighter collab videos on YouTube.
We met on the Nerdfighter forums.
Yeah, we met on the Ning.
The vlog are actually cool again because Tate Green is like everyone's TikTok science dad now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, everything that becomes not cool becomes cool again eventually.
Yeah, it's a circle. It's a circle.
But aside from us having met all those years ago on that, making those videos, we are also both music fans. And that's why I wanted to invite you on to do this tier list.
You've not told me what this tier list is.
What do you think of when I say the words adult alternative?
Oh dear gosh.
Hi, it's me, Editor Jules. You can tell I'm a different Jules because I'm wearing a hat. I realized while editing this video that I never actually defined what adult alternative means when making this video, which is kind of important. The Merriam-Webster definition of adult alternative is a radio programming format targeted towards adults and providing usually softer or more up-tempo music from a variety of popular genres. I don't feel like that completely sums it up, so I am going to use the Urban Dictionary definition as well. A form of soft rock that has more structure to it and is more catchy than regular soft rock. The musicians in these bands are usually in their 30s, dress quite modestly, and are generally some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. They just seem like people you'd run into in a grocery store. A grocery store is important. It is the music you would hear in a grocery store as well. To sum it up, it's called adult alternative because it is the music that a lot of radio stations will play that is not the most popular stuff that the kids are into, but is still more modern than like a classic station. The adults will still be into it, but it's not like the super old stuff. Anyways, back to the video.
Adult alternative, I think as a quote-unquote genre, it is a genre that can range from some really fun and interesting stuff to the most boring, trite one can imagine.
And that is why we are doing a tier list of what I called it the 2010s hits of adult alternative. I went through the Billboard each year of the 2010s charts and picked out just a couple that I remembered or that I thought would be fun. And then I thought I could maybe embarrass myself for personally wanting to rank high. But let me tell you what I made the tiers. The top tier is what I called absolute classic. That is for the songs that we both know that these are classics. I have slaps, but not a fave. You're not going to necessarily skip it, but it's not like top tier for you. And then below that is overplayed, but still good. Below that is sure exists, doesn't it? And I feel like there are quite a few songs that do go in that category. Below that is a kind of unique category that I called okay, but it's not even their best song. And that's for when someone gets a hit and you're like, I mean, it's fine, but
why
you gotta
was
listen to the
that
full
there?
album. The deep cuts, bro. Second to lowest is Get It Off the Playlist. And that's when you are on Spotify and you are listening to a playlist of 2010s rock hits or whatever, and you come across this and you're like, I don't want to listen to this one. Why is it here? And then the lowest garbage tier I called Hefty Bag.
All right. I'm ready for this.
Speaking of Hefty Bag, we are starting out with what technically was not a 2010s hit, but I felt needed to be on here, which is Hey Soul Sister by Trade.
Hefty Bag?
I mean, to be honest, I don't even remember what Drive By sounds like. I just remember the iconic line of the Hefty Bag to hold my heart. But also, Hey Soul Sister is iconically bad.
Hey Soul Sister, I think might have the worst lyric of any song I've ever heard.
Now, you could actually be talking about a few lyrics in that song, because I'm not sure which one you mean. Is it the one about the untrimmed chest?
Oh, it's absolutely the lyrics about the untrimmed
Okay, because it could have
chest.
also been white guy from Trade saying so gangster, I'm so thug. That was also an option.
I just really don't want to hear about his heart bound to be out of his untrimmed chest. I don't
Yeah,
want
I
to
don't need
think
to know.
about that.
If you manscape, sir. So
Yeah.
Trade, rightly so, are going in hefty bag. Next we have Feel It Still by Portugal the Man, which is a more recent entry into this collection. I'm curious what you think of that one.
Now, I remember the first time I heard this song, and I thought, this is fun. You know, it uses a fun sample. It's a unique sounding song. I think it might have gotten a bit overplayed, but I still think it is good. I think I would put it there.
I would put it there too. I feel like because there were a lot of people who were talking about how it's not their best song, and people talking about who knew them before they had their hit. But I didn't know them before they had their hit, so I don't have that perspective. Next we have Pompeii by Bastille. I'm gonna let you go first.
Close your eyes. I almost want to put it in slaps, but not a fave, because I think I hated this song so much that it came around the other side and I started ironically liking it. I hate the voice of the guy from Bastille.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the chants that seem to be present in so many of songs like this.
Yeah.
But it is a bad song, I think.
So here's the thing, Josh. If you were to look at my iPhone or iPod from whatever 2012 was it? I don't even remember. You would see basically 2 albums, and that would be all that Bad Blood by Bastille, the full, not just Bad Blood, all that Bad Blood, which is like the deluxe version, and then probably also The Bones of What We Believe by Churches.
Wow.
The Fart Bottom self-titled was on there eventually. Those were like my big 3. For me, I would put it in okay, but it's not even their best song.
I get that. I would probably put it maybe in either Sure Exists, Doesn't It, or Get It Off the Playlist. And I think that's entirely dependent on mood.
Yeah. Because, see, I personally have been a Bastille fan of their first album because the albums after that, I don't know. But that first Bastille album was very important to me as a youngling. And also, it is not their best song. They have a lot of better songs on that album. No chanting, and his voice is less annoying. So, yeah. I'm gonna put it in okay, but it's not even their best song.
Fair enough.
Next we have Ho Hey by the Lumineers.
Hefty Bag.
Oh. I have no opinion on this song because I do not remember how it goes.
It's got a lot of hoes and hays in it. A thing I remember about it is that there was this period where not only was it in lots of ads and stuff, but it was also in a lot of amateur things. So I remember when I was looking at universities to go to, the university I eventually ended up going to, they had these campus tour videos to show you around the dorms and stuff. And all of them had Ho Hey by the Lumineers in them as the music during the fast forward montages as they walk between buildings. I think just sort of that oversaturation really ruined it. So I'd say it's overplayed, but I would also argue that it is not good.
I would probably put it on Get It Off the Playlist. I don't think I despise it as much as you, just because I don't think I was overexposed to it at the time, because I do not remember how it goes. If I'm listening to a alternative 2010s hits or whatever playlist on Spotify and this comes up, I'm skipping it.
I think that's a fair compromise.
Now we have Break Even by The Script. I have distinct memories of being in the car with my mother and my older brother as my mom drove him to golf camp, and I distinctly remember this song playing on the radio quite a bit. Sorry,
that is the most American thing I've ever heard. I think I'm gonna go with okay, but it's not even their best song, because I feel like the bigger hit here not here in the UK, but I lived in the UK at the time. I feel like the bigger hit in the UK was The Man Who Can't Be Moved. And I think that is a much better song.
Break Even was for sure the big hit in the States. I have not really heard much of the rest of the Script's catalog, but I trust you. that it's not their best. We'll put it there.
I think The Man Who Can't Be Moved is a much better song.
This is Mumford & Sons' Little Lion Man.
See, this is a song I'm pretty sure I liked at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't continued to be fond in my heart.
I don't think it has aged well. I don't think that entire movement of Mumford & Sons, the Lumineers, those folks getting these hits, I don't think that kind of stuff aged well. We look back on it now and it's kind of like, we thought this was better than like some of the amazing pop songs that were on the radio at the time. Like, who were we trying to kid?
Yeah, I think back then I was just glad to hear like real instruments or whatever.
An acoustic guitar and no auto-tune. Ah!
In retrospect, get it off the playlist. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think I probably like it more than you do. But some of these ones that we're coming up to later, I am going to fight for being high. And so I'm going to make compromises early on. Now we have Take Me to Church by Hozier. Here's the thing. I would put it personally in okay, it's not even their best song.
That's it. I could not tell you the name of another Hozier song.
That first Hozier album that Take Me to Church was on, maybe one of my favorite albums of the 2010s. It's really good.
Wow.
It has so many good songs on it, and Take Me to Church is the worst one on that album.
But I still think it kind of slaps. Like I would be willing to put it in slaps, but not a fave. Like I don't think I would actively search for this song, but if it came up, I'd be like, yeah.
I think that the problem with the okay, but it's not even their best song tier is that if they're all above like a 6 or higher, and it's like a 6, that's different from a band that has a range of like 4 to 8, you know?
Yeah.
So now we have OneRepublic's Counting Stars, which is the only OneRepublic song of the past decade that I can stand. I like Counting Stars.
I personally sort of put it in the sure exists, doesn't it category for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Along with pretty much every other OneRepublic song, including a lot of the songs that the guy from OneRepublic has written for other people.
One song that did miss the cut, which is a song that I like, is Not Over You by Gavin DeGraw. I like that song. Ryan Tedder wrote it. But he is just like the poster child for everything that's on this list.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we have Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon.
I think this is an absolute classic.
I do too, yes. Okay, it's our first classic. And I do think it was overplayed at the time, but the thing is, it withstood it. Like, it was overplayed, but I still love it all these years later. Every
time I've heard this song, like, in a club, it goes off. I think it's a super catchy song. Mm-hmm. There's sort of nothing bad about this song. Even when it was overplayed, I think I still enjoyed it. And now that people don't really play it anymore, when I hear it, I'm delighted.
Here's what I am worried about, though, Josh. This was from the Walk the Moon's second album. Their third album was not as good. And the singles they've released for their upcoming album, I am worried they are being Maroon 5-ified.
Oh, no.
I am very nervous.
So is Shut Up and Dance like Walk the Moon's This Love?
No, because they had their first album, which was very good as well. But yeah, we'll see. I have my fingers crossed that they managed to pull themselves out of the maroon. Next, I'm pretty sure I need to pull up what photo this was, because I did save all the images, but it's way too small to be able to read. I think it's Best Day of My Life by American Authors.
It's another song I do not recognize.
You will recognize it when you hear it. Look it up.
Best Day of My Life.
Now, also, I do want to give a quick shout out to the album single art for this single, which is a perfect encapsulation of graphic design of that era.
Very skinny, sans serif font.
Yeah.
Instagram filtered picture of New York.
Sure. We were so into vignettes back in the day. Like slight vignettes on every single image. Okay, but where would you put this song?
I mean, I don't want it on any of my playlists.
I've been like watching some of those like top 10 best and worst hit songs of the 2010s videos. Mm-hmm. A lot of people hate this song, like with a passion. I never minded it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get it off the playlist. Home by Philip Phillips. You remember this one?
I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check this is the Home that I think it is.
You also might be thinking of Home by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
I don't think I've ever heard this song before in my life.
Maybe it was because he was like an American Idol guy, but I'll put it in Sure Does Exist because it does exist, I guess. Next, okay, so here's the thing. As I was making this list, I was like, okay, well, we gotta have some Coldplay on here.
Yeah.
But then as I was going through the charts, Coldplay really did not have that many hits that were like the kind of vibe I was going for. I eventually settled on A Sky Full of Stars, which is honestly more EDM. It's produced by Zed. It's got the sort of Avicii, David Guetta, well, not David Guetta, Swedish House Mafia, that's what I meant, vibe.
Yeah, it's very of the time, like that time where everyone thought, I can't have a hit without a drop, even if you're Coldplay.
I like this song. It's not a favorite.
Mm-hmm. I would be willing to put it in maybe okay, but it's not even their best song because Coldplay have a lot of good songs.
Yeah, because all of Coldplay's best songs are before the 2010s, so...
Yes, that is true.
This next one is Let Her Go by Passenger.
Hefty bag.
Wow! Immediate hefty bag. Yeah, I'll side with you there. It's very boring.
It's boring. The voice is just outstandingly strange. I would describe, and this is a reference you almost certainly won't get, because this is like a Z-less celebrity in the UK, but it sounds like a song being sung by Joe Pasquale, not what I want to hear ever.
My impression of Passenger, and this song in particular, comes entirely through 8-tracks playlists. Like, that's the only place I ever heard this song or any other Passenger song was on these 8-tracks playlists. We have Animal by Neon Trees. Neon Trees are good, and they put out an album last year that I really, really loved.
I like this song.
I would put it in slash, but not a fave.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I'd skip it. It sounds like, I would describe it as supermarket music.
Oh, grocery core for sure. Hey, there's a range of quality amongst all vibes, you know? And now for the next one, Josh, I have a very important question for you.
Okay.
Are you scared of dentists and the dark? It's Riptide by Vance Joy. You don't remember every single girl with a ukulele covering this on YouTube?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like I don't remember any of like the original version of this song, because all I can hear is every white girl's acoustic / ukulele cover of this song. And I'm not putting down white girl acoustic or ukulele covers. Some of my favorite songs are white girl acoustic, but this was definitely overplayed to the point of
Maybe Sure Exists.
Yeah, it sure exists.
Now we must take on dragons and imagine them, because we're talking about Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. Thoughts?
You know what? I remember the first time I heard this song. I think the first time I heard this song, it was at an ad, of course. They're Imagine Dragons. They make music for adverts. I think it was in an advert for the Xbox One.
Of course it was. Of course it was Xbox specifically.
And I remember enjoying it. I thought it was good, and I looked it up and I listened to it. I'm trying to work out whether my now dislike of this song is because this song hasn't aged well, or because of just Imagine Dragons since.
Or if Imagine Dragons haven't aged well.
Yeah.
I would put it in overplayed, but still good. I like this song. And hey, if it's this versus like any of the more recent Imagine Dragons songs, if this versus Thunder, oh, you know what I'm picking. You know what I'm picking. I'm gonna put it there. Next we have a song that I was looking at the adult alternative charts, and I actually didn't see it there, like on any of them. And I didn't understand that. I guess maybe they didn't count it as adult alternative for some reason, but it has to be here, and it's I'm Yours by Jason Mraz.
Yes, the song that everybody knows how to play on the ukulele because it uses 4 chords.
You first.
It sure exists, doesn't it?
It does. It exists. I think that Jason Mraz has made more, at least better music.
Yeah, or at least more interesting music.
This is not objective, but I am slightly more inclined to rate him higher because I recently found out he's bi. So I'm inclined to give him a bit more slack than some of these other people.
Yeah, you got to give him a little bit of those queer points.
Some solidarity to bump him up a spot. I put it in It Still Exists.
Yeah, it sure exists.
Next is Little Talks by Of Monsters and Men. I really liked the album that this song is from.
Yeah, this song, again, I would argue sort of grocery core.
If that's some grocery core, put me in a shopping basket. Because I think I have a higher tolerance for grocery core than a lot of people.
So I'm guessing you want to rank this quite highly then?
Personally, I would. We may have to come to a compromise.
Honestly, I wouldn't hefty bag it. That is mean, but I wouldn't have it on a playlist. I could see it being in Sure Exists, Doesn't It also. I think that's one of the things about grocery core is that that's kind of the idea, isn't it? Is that songs that happen.
I actually, now that I'm thinking about like the track list on that album that it comes from, I might put it on Okay, but it's not even their best song. When you get to stuff like Dirty Paws or Mountain Sound, I really like those songs. If you're cool with that, putting it there.
Yeah, let's do that. I will take your word for that.
We have an almost perfect pyramid at this point. Next, we have Pumped Up Kicks by Positive People.
It's definitely overplayed. The question is it still good?
That's the thing, especially considering, I mean, not to say that there were not acts of violence in schools before this song was released.
Wait,
but
hold on.
Since it has been released,
are you trying to insinuate that Foster the People has caused school shootings?
No, I'm not. Foster, if you're out there, I am not insinuating you had any effect on society. What I'm saying is that in retrospect, the lyrics do have more of a quality to them now that there have been so many highly publicized school shootings in the past years. I think it exists. I might put it there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be willing to put it in Sure Exists.
Great. And then finally, we have Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier featuring Kimbra.
I think this is an absolute classic.
I think so as well, that it is an absolute classic. Actually, I went back and tried to listen to that whole Gautier album because I realized I never actually listened to it, and someone I know said that it was really good and that more people should have listened to it. And yeah, it's a really good album, and just this song is maybe one of the best breakup songs ever written. I don't know. Yeah,
definitely. A few months ago, I sort of remembered that this song was good. Because, at the time, it was definitely overplayed and there were a million memes. A YouTube video got suggested to me of Gautier just doing an acoustic session version of the song. And I was like, this song is great. And I definitely got tired of it at the time, but I think it disappeared for long enough. I've had the time to appreciate it.
What I will say is that at the time also there were a lot of dance remixes or high energy remixes of this song, and I just don't think that helps it. I think that it works best the way it is and how it originally was.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because it's so simple. Okay, so here's our list. 2 absolute classics and 2 hefty bags, so it's pretty evenly balanced.
Yeah.
I feel like society has outgrown the need for adult alternative to the point where that's not even what people would call these songs anymore. Because adult alternative really started as kind of a radio thing, right?
Here's some of my radio expertise coming in, because I'm a radio person. Adult alternative is a way to categorize a radio station.
But it did eventually start to feel like a genre in and of itself, especially in our teenage years, because part of the reason it's adult alternative, at least I think, is because it's hey adults, if you don't want to listen to Kesha, here's what you can listen to.
Yeah.
On the radio.
Whereas adults really should have just been listening to Kesha.
Truly. Josh, do you have anything that you want to plug?
Yes, I'm going to say it on video so that I stick to it. I will be releasing the first episode of my new podcast, Y2K. That's spelled WHY, the number 2, and then the letter K. It is a podcast that talks about the early 2000s, or the noughties as we call them in the UK, and just sort of talk about the media and the culture and what the hell was going on with that period, because the nostalgia cycle is coming back around to that period, and I want to work out why.
And I will hopefully be a guest on this podcast, I think.
Yes, you will.
We're working that out. And then do you have any like personal socials that you want to plug, or like just the podcast?
Yeah, you can follow me at Joshua T Davis _, or you can follow my podcast at Y2K Pod on Twitter, both of those places. It was a pleasure doing this with you. It was a great surprise.
Thank you so much for being on. Yeah, I was just thinking about this as like an idea, and I knew that I would want to do it with somebody, and you're my music friend. Thank you to the people, my camera's here. Thank you for the people who are watching, and bye.